I went back home to visit my parents a couple of days ago, and I want to reenact something that happened to me when I was picking up my friend for dinner. The road that my friend lives on is notoriously bad. There's giant potholes everywhere, and the road isn't even paved. Actually, the stuff of BMW drivers' nightmares. It's been like this for the last 10 years, which got me thinking, why hasn't the city come and fixed it? Now, it's not like the city doesn't have enough money. While it is a small city, recently they've been building new schools, new commercial districts, and started developments for affordable housing. So how are they able to do these large-scale projects when they can't even fix something as simple as a road? So today I want to talk about and highlight the invisible mechanism that builds our cities and towns, the municipal bond. Anytime you drive over a bridge, anytime that you turn on your tap for water, and anytime that you take public transportation, each time you're interacting with this municipal bond. And while this simple product may be relatively boring, especially when compared against these high-flying AI equities, this product is actually one of the most powerful machines running our entire economy. So what is a municipal bond? Think about it as if you were trying to take out a loan on a car or maybe even a house. Except for a municipal bond, the person borrowing is a government entity. And this usually means a city or a state. When a city or state needs to build a school, hospital, or highway, it almost never pays in cash. Instead, it borrows from millions of people. For example, your teacher's pension fund, insurance companies, maybe even your parents' retirement fund. Maybe even you own some municipal bonds in your private investment account. Essentially, you're lending them money, they promise to pay you interest, and eventually the whole amount, known as the principal, back. But what makes municipal bonds special is why they exist. Cities don't generate profits, they generate services, and you really can't own a part of a city. So instead of equity, they issue debt. And municipal bonds are how public goods get financed. Public goods are things that everyone uses. Here's a list that isn't everything, but gives you a sense of what municipal bonds can pay for. Core infrastructure, such as roads and highways, bridges and tunnels, public transit systems like subways and buses, airports, seaports and harbors, water treatment plants, sewer and stormwater systems, power grids, waste management and landfills, recycling facilities, police stations and equipment, fire stations and equipment, disaster preparedness facilities, hospitals and clinics, public schools, community colleges and public universities, libraries, courthouses, city halls, administrative buildings, parks and playgrounds, public sports facilities, industrial parks, business development zones, and tourism facilities. These are examples of things that are all around you that were all built using municipal bonds. And here's the most important part, and this is why municipal bonds are special. The income that you get from the interest is tax exempt on a federal level, and in most cases on the state and local level as well. I'll give you an example. Let's say I live in New York City, and New York City needs to raise more money in order to make improvements to the MTA. If I buy the MTA bonds, that means the income that I earn from the interest is exempt from taxes on the federal, state, and city level. However, if I don't live in New York, that doesn't mean that I can't buy the New York City subway bonds. It just means that I'm only exempt from the federal income tax level, but I still have to pay state and local taxes. And the reason why that the income interest is tax exempt is because the federal government wants cities and states to invest in their own infrastructure. Making the interest income tax exempt lowers borrowing costs. The math works like this. Let's imagine that two entities want to build the same $100 million toll bridge. One is a private infrastructure company, and the other is the city government. They both need to borrow $100 million for 20 years. The private company issues a corporate bond at 6% interest. Both of these entities need to pay interest on the bonds in order to incentivize people to buy them. So the interest rate here is basically the cost of borrowing. The private company issues a corporate bond at 6% interest, which is taxable. The city issues a municipal bond at 4% interest, which is tax-free. Let's say an investor who wants to buy this bond is in the 35% federal income tax bracket. For the corporate bond, the interest received is 6%. If you calculate the after-tax yield, this just means the amount that the investor actually keeps after taxes. The investor only pockets 3.9%. Now, if the investor buys the municipal bond issued by the city, the investor keeps the full 4% after taxes. So, to the investor, the corporate bond only earns him 3.9% after taxes, and the municipal bond earns 4% after taxes. Since the investor only cares about the after-tax yield, they'll choose the municipal bond over the corporate bond. That means it's better for the city to develop the project because they can borrow at 4% instead of 6%. And that difference after 20 years means tens of millions of dollars saved in interest. So the tax exemption is not a gift to investors, it's a subsidy for cities. The government forgoes tax revenue so that bridges, schools, and hospitals can be built more cheaply. And here's another benefit of municipal bonds. They're much less risky compared to their corporate counterparts. Here's a chart from Standard & Poor's that compares the default risk of similar rated municipal and corporate bonds in different ratings categories. You can see the credit ratings at the bottom: AAA, AA, single A, BBB, and BB. You can think of a credit rating like a credit score, but for governments and companies. For example, when an individual applies for a credit card, the bank checks your score to decide how likely you are to pay them back and how much interest to charge you. Bond investors do the exact same thing. There are special third-party agencies like Standard & Poor's, Moody's, and Fitch that look at an issuer's finances, tax base, debt levels, and management, and assign a grade. A AAA is like an 850 credit score, and the lower the rating, the higher the interest rate, because the lender is taking more risk. So that means that when you compare, let's say, AAA municipal bonds with AAA corporate bonds, you can see that the AAA municipal bond has never defaulted before, while there's a default rate of 0.87% on AAA corporate bonds. Now the gap is the biggest at the BBB level. If you look at the municipal bonds, there's only a 0.42% historic default rate, while similarly rated corporations default at 5.6%. This means that historically, municipal bonds are safer than buying bonds from a corporation. There are two reasons why the default rates on municipal bonds are so low. The first reason is because most of these bonds are secured by taxes, and most Americans pay their taxes. The second reason is because the federal government doesn't want cities and states to default. It's not a great look. So, in the worst case scenario, it's likely that the federal government will bail out the cities and states. So, who actually buys these? Well, a bunch of different entities buy them, and they buy them for different reasons. Most municipal bonds are bought by mutual funds, insurance companies, pension funds, retirement accounts, and wealthy individuals. Mutual funds often buy these in order to diversify their portfolios. Insurance companies buy these because of its historic low default rate. They prefer safe assets that they can liquidate easily so they don't get screwed over in case they have to pay out an insurance claim. Pension funds and retirement accounts buy these for similar reasons. The reason is because this is a slow, long-term investment that is funding long-term assets. This aligns well with the long-term goals of pension funds and retirement accounts. Wealthy individuals are the most likely to buy these bonds for the tax reason. If you think back to the example that we gave earlier, because so much of the advantage in municipal bonds comes from the tax exemption, it only makes sense to buy these bonds if you're benefiting from the tax exemption. So the higher you are in the tax bracket, the more effective the tax exemption becomes. In the previous example, if the investor wasn't in the 35% federal tax bracket, but instead in a lower one, the after-tax yield on the corporate bond would actually be higher than the after-tax yield on the municipal bond. So because wealthy individuals have so much money that they're sitting on and are willing to invest, they use these municipal bonds in order to generate tax-free income that they can then use to spend in their daily lives. The reason that municipal bonds are so important is because it allows cities to grow without needing the upfront money. A city can have all the plans in the world for the future, but none of that matters if they don't have the money in order to implement them now. Municipal bonds turn the future into the present. A city that will be thriving 30 years in the future can start building and planning today. Instead of waiting decades to save, it borrows against the productivity of its future residents. Every new road, sewer system, or power grid increases economic activity, which raises tax revenue, which pays the bond. It's a feedback loop between finance and civilization. When you think about the problems that all cities face today, such as urban decay, transit failures, school quality, climate infrastructure, and housing shortages, you're really talking about the same problem, which is capital allocation. Municipal bonds decide which cities grow, which stagnate, and which quietly decline. So the next time you turn on a light, flush a toilet, or drive on the roads near you, remember, there's a market behind that, and it's called the municipal bond market. Thank you so much for watching today's episode of Side Notes. Please comment down below what other topics interest you or what you'd like me to cover next.